Calix does get the 1 kill. There goes Otten though for the trade, and yet again HAVU will close out the round. So HAVU took that round win on the B site play. And after that even trade early on in this previous round, we saw Space Soldiers feeling like they had to take a risk in terms of putting one of their B players rotating back towards the A bomb site. So that left Engine trying to solo hold the B site against 4 players pushing towards him. And that meant, of course, that HAVU could very quickly, even though Engine got 1 kill, gain control of that B site. And then Space Soldiers were certainly scrambling to get back into position. So Space Soldiers will go for 5 CZs in this 13th round. And we are already heading to the late stages of this first half, and still, Space Soldiers only with that sort of 5-round streak in the middle of this half to play with. We are going to see those CZs try to find some close range angles, as you would expect. Xantares jiggling in and out, looking for some info. In the meantime, of course, Alex with that Mach 10 will be hoping he can find some players without Kevlar to take them down. In come the smokes towards the B site. HAVU don't have to commit to this push just yet, so they have a bit of utility left behind. Xantares going for the peak, spots out the shoulder of Alex. Takes a tiny bit of damage early on. You can see HAVU not fully committing towards B though. They certainly have some presence still towards the A side of the map. And in this sort of round, that's very important, just so that you can make sure Space Soldiers don't catch you off guard with just pistols. Time is starting to tick down here for HAVU, so they will have to commit to a bomb site with around 40 seconds left on the clock. And the bomb seems to be making its way up Banana here. Flashes coming through. HAVU not quite pushing together as a unit, but still Alex gets that first kill with the Mach 10. There is Khan spotting out the push towards top mid. So as expected, these primary weapons will find the kills between them. Despite Xantares hoping to get good timing through the smoke, he will also go down. So Calix and Paz in a 2-on-5 will probably just play for exits. Again, it might even be worth just saving this Kevlar though at this point. There's not really too much you're going to be able to do. Because even if HAVU try to, save their guns, they should just be sending Alex in first to gain the information and only risk losing the Mach 10. So Calix and Paz very unlikely to get any exit kills here. You can see Alex is even going to spread out from the rest of his team and look for frags himself with this Mach, but he goes down. Again though, only a Mach 10 picked up by Calix, so nothing really too relevant in the grand scheme of things. So Space Soldiers, of course, will go back for the buy. 4 M4s alongside Calix investing into that AWP. And something I was kind of expecting to see, from Space Soldiers is possibly that double AWP setup. But it seems like Calix, at least on the CT side here, has just taken over the primary AWPing instead of Engine, which is something I haven't seen too often. This might be a map-dependent thing. We'll get to see in the rest of the series, of course. Nades going back and forth. It's Alex who takes the brunt of them down to half HP. And HAVU themselves might go for a faster round here because they are congregating around that A bomb site. But Major will reply with some aggression of his own, peeking out wide to get that first. Oh, it has to find another frag. Otten himself up close, does land one in reply. Finding that AWP kill at very, very close range. He also got dinked down to just 9 points of health. So with a minute left on the clock, HAVU have to play from a 3v4 position. And you can see again, Space Soldiers very happy to just leave one player towards Banana. And that makes this A site hold much, much stronger for them, especially with Calix being here with the AWP. Okay, I don't know if you could hear that, but that's a fire alarm. Seems like everything is going wrong right now. Might have to look into that. the one kill. Zarte, the one man left, does end up going down. I believe we are good. Hopefully I won't be dying in a fire anytime soon. The fire alarm has stopped. Don't worry, guys. We're going to go into the last round of the half. And it seems like both teams, of course, have to force up what they can. But HAVU are slightly on the back foot. Sergey missing a few nades. Khan down to a Galil. Creeping up towards Banana, but the Incendiary will slow things down. And again, the flash in for Xantares. This flash has worked so many times. There has not been a counter for HAVU so far. Xantares might just be able to get back to safety as Engine comes in to help him out with a frag of his own. Xantares continuing to look for some aggression. Doesn't quite spot out Alex just yet, but still the damage is done. A two-man advantage for the Turks. So a minute left on the clock for HAVU to try and overcome this position, but Khan pushing elsewhere will also fall to the AK of Paz. So unless Zarte and Alex can come back from an almost unwinnable position, it will be Space Soldiers, likely gaining at least a 7-round half, which all things considered, I think they won't be too disappointed with. I certainly think HAVU, will have the slight upper hand, but considering, they were 5-0 down at one point, Space Soldiers have recovered fairly well into this position. 28 seconds left, and still Xantares and Engine holding this crossfire on this B bomb site where they are likely to get the action any second, because Zarte and Alex will be making their way forwards. 15 seconds left on the clock now, and HAVU are going to have to push forwards towards this B site right now. Here we go, the peek comes in, Xantares finds one, as does Engine. So Space Soldiers will find the 2 kills they needed to hold onto that B site. And an 8-7 half in favour of HAVU is the current scoreline. Just taking a quick look at the scoreboard as well, Xantares, of course, over towards Banana, has been getting a lot of action, up there at 20 kills so far. Leading the way for his team. In the meantime, Zarte has been playing surprisingly well here for HAVU as well, up at 16 frags of his own, which is a little bit surprising, I think if HAVU want to have the best possible chance in this series, they will be hoping that Ottend and Sergey will be stepping up. Getting a lot of flashbangs, guys. I didn't know you could buy this many flashbangs. Either way, heading into the second half, buys are coming through, and Alex has bought up the dualies alongside a defuse kit on the CT side. In the meantime, for Space Soldiers, Engine goes for a set of nades, and the rest of the players just buying up Kevlar. Space Soldiers are just sitting back towards mid for the time being. HAVU have 4 CTs stacked towards that A site. Sergey is solo holding B, playing very passively back towards sort of CT. Peek coming through. Sergey is forced to fall back from the B site, and he might call for some assistance if he's not careful. Still no fights coming through just yet. The time has been ticking down, and both teams have been sitting patiently, and with HAVU having this 4A stack, you can understand why they would be sitting so patiently. And again, the bomb is still back towards Banana, so HAVU could be in some trouble here if the push were to come in towards Sergey. Space Soldiers will at least prod their way around the A site, and Major takes a bit of damage for his troubles, down to 70 HP early on. I really want to see these dualies get some action. Down to $400, of course, in terms of the price, so you can afford that kit. Could be fun, and it's often to peek out wide for the first kill towards mid. In comes the smoke towards CT. Sergey does go aggressive on the edge of the smoke. Doesn't quite get the kill, but still, you can already see HAVU rotating their way back around, trying to get into position. And Paz looks to shut them down as he finds 2 kills. And that makes such a big difference for Space Soldiers. We go back to, at the very least, a 3v3. And Khan taps off 2 heads! What a double kill from him, as Sergey himself finds the final kill to secure the round for HAVU. And the USPs come out on top. Incredible shots coming through over towards Banana. The second one through the wood was really insane. There's nothing else to be said. And HAVU themselves get their 9th round on the board. So of course, into this round, Space Soldiers, off the back of losing the second pistol, will now have to go for just some upgraded pistols themselves. And remember, in the first half, HAVU got out to a 5-0 lead off the back of their pistol round win. And now that they've won the CT pistol, there is always the risk of something similar happening for Space Soldiers here. And if that were to come through, then HAVU might just get out to too big of a lead here on their CT side. Remember, this is a best of 3 in this Group C winners match. And HAVU did pick Inferno, and they've also been having some great results on this map recently. Beating Heroic, beating Godsent. So clearly, this is a map that HAVU love to play. But also, Space Soldiers themselves are very competent on this map. So I really thought the map pool might be sort of in favour of Space Soldiers. But it seems like here on Inferno, they're not having the best of times so far. But of course, it's still 9-7. So there's still every opportunity for them to make their way back into this game. Again, Space Soldiers did get the bomb plant, so they've invested very little into this round. And so you would assume that HAVU would be able to shut down any push towards a site. Sergey is holding this B site first with this M4. And he's got Zarte for support boosted up with this UMP on towards these boxes. And as the push comes forwards, he's forced to fall off. Sergey is the man to get the first kill, and Zarte one-tapped with the UMP to take down Calyx. However, the pistols do find some frags back, and the bomb will be planted here. Paz peeks out for a quick deagle shot, and Space Soldiers get themselves a chance in this round with a man advantage in their favour, as well as a rifle recovered for Xantares, and that is certainly something that could prove dangerous. But he ends up going down as Khan shuts him out, gets a second kill, and Paz gets another deagle shot himself. 2 HP in the one-on-one though. Can Paz realistically pull this off? Well, it seems like Khan might... Oh no, has Khan lagged out? I don't know what's happening here, but Khan's not moving. I think he must have some issues. Oh, this is such an awful time for it as well. Khan is forced to run away as he finally reconnects. And you have to feel bad for HAVU. That is the worst possible moment that Khan could disconnect. Paz on just 2 HP would have almost certainly lost that one-on-one. Khan had a rough idea he was over towards Banana as well. The pause does come through, but it's just slightly too late, and you've just got to feel bad for HAVU at that point. At the same time, to be fair to Paz, he landed some great shots with that deagle to get into that position. And again, he is starting to sort of, you know, lead the way in terms of frags alongside Xantares. So we head back underway, and HAVU have to go for the force buy after losing that round in very, very depressing fashion, I think it's fair to say. See the 1M4 saved for Khan, alongside the rest of his team investing into pistols. And HAVU are just playing a very sort of default setup across the map right now. Incredibly standard to just have, you know, 2 players towards B, 3 players towards A, one of them playing fairly passively towards A long. Of course, with that CZ, you don't particularly want to be taking those long-range engagements, so certainly understandable. Space Soldiers not really using too many of their nades early on here, despite sort of pushing forwards. They've been holding onto that utility, and as they group up around that A site, that could make a fair big difference, because you can see they still have the 5 smokes left to use if they want to sort of execute towards this site. And Paz will even get boosted up here over the top. This is a nice little off angle. Might just get him a kill, but instead Khan expects that position and finds the opening frag with that rifle, but he gets caught by Major, pushing out through apps. It's Major to go down to Ottend, but again, the push will continue, and they might just overwhelm the site between them, as indeed Ottend will will go down, and there is Xantares to find a second on the push. So Zarte is just the one man left. Caster, you are adopted. I never knew that I would find out I was adopted through Twitch chat, but thanks for letting me know. So we go back to an even scoreline, 9-9, and of course HAVU again going to be forced down to an eco off the back of the force buy. Just going to be Khan buying up a single P250, and wow, that one round where Paz, you know, finds those Deagle kills could just make a huge difference for Space Soldiers, because now they are the ones in the lead, and already Major gets that first with the Mach 10. Where did your caster friend go? He's trying to fix the technical difficulties we've been having. Seems like the stream's running a bit better now, so he's doing a pretty good job. There's Xantares tapping off some heads. Very nice stuff from him. A nice little bit of team damage from Ottens there, why not? A little bit of a love tap given over to Alex before he goes down. Alex, the one man left, will also be overwhelmed. So very standard round. Major cleaning up some kills with that Mach 10, building up that bonus money. And Space Soldiers will be the first team to get double digits on the board. As we head into round 20, they will have to contend with the AWP of Ottend alongside pretty much a full buy for the rest of HAVU, although Zarte has elected to go down to that UMP to get the full nades. In the meantime, Major does decide to stick to the Mach 10, which I certainly think is fine. If he just runs in first, gets that information, that's always a possibility. And oh, Sergey gets 2 nades raining into his face. And you know what that means? He's going to go down early on. That's a brutal way for HAVU to start off this first gun round for them. Pete comes in and Engine decapitates Ottens towards top mid. And so Space Soldiers, off the back of just a couple of kills, should likely get another round to go their way. Zarte will line up a nade of his own, trying to get some revenge for his fallen comrade Sergey, who of course went down to those nades earlier, but doesn't do too much damage. And look at Engine's position. This is a free kill every day of the week. Takes down Khan, who was unexpectedly pushing around. And it leaves... I believe, sorry, that the A site is clear for the taking. So even with that kill from Alex, tough to see what the Finns can do. Can see Space Soldiers making their way on towards A, just making sure that they didn't get caught out by one lurking player from HAVU. And now that Alexi has realized that there's not too much of a chance, they might just look to save. Though Zarte does get the one kill there. Gives away his position, and Alexi playing an aggressive angle there, catches Xantares off guard also. And to be fair, if I was Xantares, I'm not sure I'd expect Alexi to be playing so far up. But it works out that time, and so Space Soldiers at the very least will only get to save 2 guns max, thanks to HAVU's work at the end of this round. But there we go, Space Soldiers themselves do push forwards, and of course their money is good enough that they can afford to hunt down HAVU and try to deny these guns. Alex sitting in towards his position, might just get caught. Ooh, he nearly gets peeked on towards, but is able to hold on to the AK at the end of the round. So 9-11 is the current scoreline. And of course HAVU will just have the 1 rifle saved to work with for the most part. A couple of pistols invested, at the very least. But again, not looking great for the Finns in this round, although Alexi does get that first pick on towards that peak. That's why you've got to love saving the AK, because there's always the chance to get the openings with those quick headshots. But Xantares himself also has an AK and will find a frag back. After getting that 1 kill, Alexi has gone fairly safe on towards A. Now it seems like he is slowly but surely going to creep his way forwards. In the meantime, though, yet again, Engine has snuck his way through. And this is a perfect position for at least 1 free kill. Takes down Khan, and so Alexi with the AK will have it all to do on this A site. He is trying to play in the midst of this smoke. But as soon as that fades, his position should be given away. Paz is going to peek in towards his crosshair there, and Alexi should spot him out first. Indeed, the first kill, and the second one for Alexi, as he flicks back around to give HAVU a realistic chance. Alexi will be forced back and nearly taken down by the flames, but his kills have allowed Ottent to also recover an AK. And so HAVU have got a realistic chance at coming out on top here. It's Xantares and Engine in the 2-on-3 to try and close it out for the Turks. And Xantares peeks out for that quick headshot, taking down Ottent. So now, unless Alexi can do something with this AK, this round will not quite be good enough for HAVU. Good effort again from Alexi there with the single rifle. But despite the 3 kills coming through, none of his teammates can step up for the team. So Space Soldiers will continue to extend their lead, with Xantares finding a 4th to close the round. Again, Xantares, in terms of fragging, has been incredibly good so far. 28 kills in these first 21 rounds. And as always, if you're getting more than 1 frag per round, you're definitely having a good game. Either way, HAVU, you know, they've got to buy together here. But this is a buy that they're really going to have to win, to be fair. So it's a very important round for them. And with how these recent rounds have been going so in favor of Space Soldiers, could be some trouble. There's a nade landing into Xantares' position, and as the push comes forwards, he will get caught out in the open, and Zate sprays through the smoke to extend the advantage for HAVU. 5v3 now for them to play from, and surely HAVU should be able to finally put an end to this winning streak. Remember, this was 5 rounds in a row for Space Soldiers on their T side. Space Soldiers just needs an AWPer. Well, Calix was trying out the AWP there on the CT side, so maybe that will be what they are trying to sort of switch up to allow him to, you know, step up a bit more with the AWP, rather than, of course, Engine, who we've seen mostly pick it up in the past. Either way, 3-on-5, and Space Soldiers are going to make their way towards the A site, it seems. However, with there being 4 players ready to attempt to stop them, it's not going to be easy for the Turks to make their way forwards as Calix goes running through. Flashbang comes out and Calix will go down. As was boosted up, he lines up the first kill, but in comes the trade very, very quickly. And so HAVU not only win the round to get themselves their 10th on the board, but they also, again, save a fair few guns at the end there. And considering their economic position, that is a huge, huge benefit for them, because they will be able to get not only a full buy here, but also possibly another buy even if they lose this one. So that's definitely an advantage for them at the very least. You know, if they'd have lost, you know, more guns in that round, they could have been at real risk of just being completely broken again in terms of their money. Here comes Sergey, thinking of some aggression early with this AK, and the flash again is great for the opening kill. We've seen a lot of CT pop flashes over towards Banana from both teams. They've been very, very successful so far. And that is proven yet again as Xantares is taken down early on. And considering HAVU have taken down what has been Space Soldiers' best performing player so far, you would think they would have a great chance to close out this round win. But there's still, of course, plenty of talent left alive on this Space Soldiers roster. Calix and Paz, specifically, playing fairly well so far. In comes Paz, peeking out, quick headshot with the AK, lining things up to find the first frag, and now he's going to make his way through, round the back, and Alexi could be in trouble here as the push comes in. He doesn't expect Paz to continue his aggression, and so now Sergey is going to have to scramble his way over to try and help his teammates. But it might not be in time, as Khan is still trying to lock down this A site. He gets 1 kill, but Paz swings out for a 3rd on the round. And Paz has swung this back into Space Soldiers' favor. And even when you take down Xantares first, Paz is still alive. And Paz does all the damage. As Zate, the 1 man left, will be forced to try and save. And that round there might just be the one that pushes Space Soldiers a bit too far ahead. Even if Zate saves this AK, someone on the HAVU side will likely have to go for some sort of weaker gun. Just going to see Zate try and save what he can. Of course, one benefit, I suppose, for HAVU The one thing they can really try and work with, if they could win a couple of rounds, is the fact that Space Soldier's money isn't as great as you might initially expect. You know, most players with a few $1,000s in the bank, although of course they are just about to get this round win bonus, so they will have a little bit more. But they will also have to reinvest a couple of guns. Pete comes forward, Zarte. Ooh. I think his gun barrel was peeking around the corner there, but he just about has enough time to hold on to the AK. And so here we go. HAVU will have to go for the 4-spy. They do get the 4 rifles at the very least, but Ottend is forced down to the CZ. And HAVU haven't really had the chance to buy up an AWP on their CT side so far with their money. And that could have been a big issue for them. Here comes some aggression early from Space Soldiers. Their nades will allow them to gain control of Banana early on. We've seen HAVU been happy to sort of compete over towards Banana at the initial stages, but those nades have certainly shut them down early on here. Out comes a smoke. See, Space Soldiers were thinking about the push, but I think have decided against it. Just I say that, Zarte sprays through the smoke to open things up. I don't think Major got to see an opponent in this round as he goes down first. So now Space Soldiers have to think if they want to try and continue to push towards B, despite them knowing there are a couple of players there with rifles. Because they should be aware that HAVU's money isn't the best. And that CZ is currently playing towards A. So if they were to push through towards this A site, there is some chance they could, you know, overwhelm it fairly quickly. However, again, Ottend is playing, you know, behind these boxes on the site at these sort of close off angles. That can certainly be successful with that CZ. Time is ticking down, and with a little over 30 seconds left on the clock, here comes the push. Khan gets the first before Calix finds the trade, and as the push continues towards the site itself, Ottend will be the first man on the hold, but he goes down, and now Alexi is the only man left, and he will also be traded on. So, despite HAVU having 3 players on the A site, even trades go down, but again, Space Soldiers have 2 players left very low on health. So Sergey and Zarte still have a great chance to pull off this 2-on-2. At the same time though, Xantares still has an AK, and if he can find some quick headshots, even on 5 HP, there's still every possibility he can find some kills, but oh no, Engine burns alive at the hands of Zarte, and so Xantares has to do it all, but the nades are placed perfectly from the Finns. They didn't even have to look at their opponents in the eyes because they used their utility to get both frags. And not much Space Soldiers can do there from that position when they were so low. So again, HAVU managed to get another round on the board, but we see buys for both teams. Space Soldiers not going for the AWP just yet. They are happy to continue with the 5 AKs, which we've seen have a fair amount of success for them so far here on this T side of Inferno. And to be fair, they don't really, you know, have an AWP that you need to have an AWP in his hands, you know. Calix can do a lot with the AK. Engine's not too bad with the rifles either. In the meantime, HAVU themselves, again, don't have that much money left behind. So this round is really critical for both teams. If Space Soldiers win it, they have a great chance to come out on top here on this first map. But if HAVU were to come out on top, there's every chance they could try and start to build up that comeback. Of course, they're only 2 rounds behind, so it wouldn't even be particularly too much of a comeback. Look at this from Space Soldiers. Xantares was lining up an interesting smoke over the top there. I don't think I've seen that one before. The bomb, though, is not currently committed towards B, making its way back towards second mid. And here go those nades over to the B bomb site. Let's see how much HAVU rotates here. Already you can see Ottend making his way over, as is Alexi. So as the push comes forwards, they're going to try and wrap their way through CT, I believe. The deep smoke comes out. Xantares gets the first, as does Engine, and the B site is fully opened up. Well, there you go. You try and fake the B bomb site with 2 players, but you just completely open it up between them. And so it's not too much of a fake anymore because the bomb will make its way back towards the B site. I think the idea was to just really sell that fake over towards B and come back towards A. However, instead, Xantares just completely opens up the B site with 2 kills alongside 1 for Engine. And so now Khan is left in a terrible position where he will likely just save. And well, I think you know it's going good for Space Soldiers when Xantares is up there at 31 kills. And also when he's trying to sell a fake and ends up just opening up the site with his team. Incredible stuff. To be fair, Space Soldiers didn't get so many kills towards B there. That strategy might not have worked out all that well. I mean, there was only one player rotating off. And he was also, you know, in a fairly good position to make his way back if needed. Khan on that spam through takes half of his health off early on. That's always the risk of trying to play up close with, you know, a pistol in towards apartments. The spam can come through, and it does come through this time. Of course, HAVU here have almost fully forced into this round. I know you might not believe me because their buy is grim, but they have invested all their cash and they only have pistols to show for it. And that's why that last round was so important, because now Space Soldiers will just look to overwhelm the A site. Push comes out, Major doesn't clear the corner, Khan can't get the kill! I don't know where Major was running to there, but he does go down. Either way, Paz is still here to open things up. 3 entries for Paz. And finally, Sergey gets a trade back, but Paz has done enough to gain them control of that A site. Sergey and Zarte don't have the rifles, even though a couple have been dropped down, and there is Calix to find a headshot. And again, Space Soldiers, I mean, they lose their guns sort of towards the site, and so the HAVU players rotating can't really pick them up, and Sergey again takes a nade straight to his face. Maybe that was more like his leg, but it certainly did a huge amount of damage. Calix will finish him off. So Space Soldiers now have 4 map points here at the early stages, and you have to remember this was HAVU's map pick. Heading into Cash, which was Space Soldiers' pick, a map they've been incredibly potent on recently. It would be tough to see HAVU pull off a win there. So if Space Soldiers do close this one out, you would expect them to be able to take Cash, but there's always a chance for HAVU right here. He comes forwards, and Sergey, just a couple of bullets, finds a first kill with that CZ. So coming out in reply from Space Soldiers, and the gun hasn't quite been recovered for the CTs, and you can see Space Soldiers dealing with that now. They're making sure that AK is going to be thrown as far away as possible, so there is no chance for HAVU to recover that rifle. Looks like Engine's going to line up a boost here. Sergey on the other side could be in trouble. It's actually Zarte who spotted out first. He gets sprayed low, but the AK is indeed recovered. It's easy if Sergey does a tiny bit more damage. And there's no real nades left for Space Soldiers to try and clear this position. Just the Molotov of Calix, but as the peek comes in, Sergey up close. Only good for a second kill before he goes down. And so now Ottend is the first man attempting to rotate over. However, Space Soldiers haven't committed to this B push just yet. They've been slowed down just a little bit here, and you can see Khan is over towards mid, pushed up, and making sure that if the rotate were to come back around, he could try and cut things off. No steps made just yet, but with 24 seconds, Space Soldiers will likely have to make some steps soon. They're just going to walk their way forwards now. I think Khan should have heard some steps here, finally realizes it. He opens things up with the CZ. And so HAVU are now aware that the bomb is going to go down on towards A. They've got a couple of AKs to work with for this retake, but Calix and Engine are already in fairly strong positions. Calix is in towards Pit, and Engine is stuck on the site, but he has a smoke still left to use. That makes a huge difference now, because HAVU will have to try and reposition. You can already see Alex is completely cut off over towards A long. Calix himself from Pit is going back and forth between these two angles, and as he peeks forwards, he's going to get the timing perfect for a free kill. Calix looks for the second, and he needs one more frag. The peek comes forward. Calix spraying away, just trying to slow things down. He's out of ammo. Calix with his knife out, but there's no kit for HAVU, so I don't think they have the time. And so it will be Space Soldiers to take that round win, thanks to Calix slowing things down, and the first map coming in their favor here. 16-11 for Space Soldiers. In those frantic final seconds, they closed the first map, and heading into Cash, I'm sure they will be feeling great about their
platform worldwide. More than 70,000 case openings every day. Many cases which have become legendary for our users. Join the Farmskins Club and get your free daily case today.
Should we stay here when we could run free? Who would we be if you weren't with me? No, I'm never going home again. What I can I'm most in the dark. Where we live I make pretend. Let's get lost forever. Should we stay here when we could run free? Who would we be if you weren't with me? No, I'm never going home again. What I can I'm most in the dark. Where we live I make pretend. We're lost forever. We're lost forever. Run
picture in my mind. You wanna leave it all behind. In a world that's turning all the time, nothing could stop me longing for your eyes. I won't let it die. I can feel you when you're not around. When the night gets cold, I won't be alone. We won't be This lake of fire burns my skin. How could love wear so thin? I'm sinking in the hollow ground. Nothing can stop me wanting you somehow. I won't let it die. I can feel you when you're not around. When the
feel the happiness. Do what you want to get it back for us. You take your time, then let me know if you wanna stay or if you wanna go. I know you have difficulty knowing me, but you don't have difficulty showing me that we just need to get away. I'll take you on a wild adventure if you want to go. We're locked in places, sing together, please just let me know. Won't you synchronize with me? You can be my everything, my everything. You can be my everything, my everything. Won't you synchronize with me? You can be my everything, my everything. You can be my everything, my everything. We haven't got unlimited time. Sun is out and you get to your prime. We're falling for love, we're falling for lust, we're falling through everything. You see the summer's getting closer. We don't feel like we are getting older. So show me what you have to bring. I'll take you on a wild adventure if you want to go. We're locked in places, sing together, please just let me know. Won't you synchronize with me? You can be my everything, my everything. You can be my everything, my everything. Won't you synchronize with me? You can be my everything, my everything. You can be my everything, my everything. Won't you synchronize with me? You can be my everything, my everything. You can be my everything, my everything.
Hello ladies and gents, I'm excited to get back into some Counter-Strike. Hopefully we have no problems this time, apologies for that. And let's get live into this ninth round. I'm joined by Hawker, as always, as pretty standard at this point. And we will get into this game very, very shortly. Looks like obviously Space Soldier's doing a grand job on that first and opening map, but Hawker, how are you? How do you think this game is likely going to go?
Doing Well, thank you, Squid. I think it's probably going to go in favor of Space Soldiers now. They've just been really, really good on Cash so far from what we've seen from them. I mean, HAVU are okay on this map, but Space Soldiers, after taking, HAVU's mapping away from them, I think they've got to be favored pretty heavily heading into their pick of Cash now.
Dirt in your eyes, ready to go. Your moment's arrived. Shake off the cold and light up the night. What are you waiting
Knife round goes in favour of Space Soldiers. So they will get to choose their side as well to start things off.
It's your time to turn it around.
So we will head underway back into this series any second now, and well, Space Soldiers will hopefully for their sakes be taking their own map pick. I mean, Cash certainly has been really strong for them previously. I think that's, what I think was going to be the issue for HAVU here, the fact that they had to pick Inferno early on, which is a map Space Soldiers are pretty good on, and then they now are going to be forced into Cash, which is fairly difficult to win against Space Soldiers, even for the best of teams. Still just getting a little bit of a delay before the game gets underway. Ooh, nice rhymes. But yeah, Paz was certainly stepping up for Space Soldiers as well. And I mean, recently, I think Paz has been a huge difference for Space Soldiers. He'd always been good, but he's starting to hit, a really, really strong level where he is fairly often up there with Xantares in terms of performance. And also a fair few sort of impactful rounds, I think, for Paz. Finding, triple kills fairly often that make a massive difference to be able to sort of win his team rounds. I think that's really what sort of allowed Space Soldiers to press on and have these better results. And I think it's fair to say, when this team was first put together, I was kind of expecting Calix to be that sort of second star. But it seems like it's ending up being Paz who is really sort of performing. Either way, we're going to head back underway into this series, into Cash, and the pistol round will be coming through with Major buying up the nades. In the meantime, on the HAVU side of things, Zate buys up a kit. And we're not going to see the dualies this time, it's just going to be a kit and 2 flashbangs for the Finns. So Space Soldiers grouping up around that A bomb site, and HAVU have 3 players stacked towards A for the time being. Although Alexi B is making his way back towards mid. But Otten through the smoke, Wild Blind gets the first pick, and so the push will continue. Paz pushing out through Squeaky, gets dinked maybe by his teammate there. Was by an enemy as he gets taken out, and Alex himself finds 2 frags, still holding as he gets a third. And now Calix, the one man left, has almost no chance. And a great hold from Alex there, just finding those long-range fights. He does eventually get taken down by Calix. Still a long way to go if he wants any chance, and there is Khan to finish him off. So a quick 1-0 lead for HAVU. And Space Soldiers, it looked like might have been able to sort of gain some ground towards A, but as soon as Alex gets those 2 kills, that really shuts any opportunity down. And so instead, Space Soldiers, without the bomb plants, will have to force up into this second round. Except for Major, who hasn't bought up just yet. He's still sitting in the spawn. There we go, goes for the CZ. Fairly standard buys on the T side. Of course, those CZs being favoured over the Tech 9 now, after the Tech 9 got nerfed into the ground. And I do feel like the CZ is fairly awkward to use on the T side at some points. But for the most part, it's reasonable still. And we've still certainly seen teams had success with those CZ buys alongside Deagles, so even if I feel like it's a little bit awkward, clearly the pros are still having, a fair amount of success with it. So with a minute left in the round, we are yet to see anything really happen so far. Fairly boring stuff. Come on, guys, let's get some fights. Xantares is looking to take some fights, and he will rattle off a shot. But Khan does not take any damage for his troubles. Bomb still left fairly far back. So we see a tiny bit of damage dealt to a few Space Soldiers players, but again, nothing really relevant in the grand scheme of things. Ooh, Calix gets caught off guard by Sergey peeking out quickly from headshot. And the bomb is making its way over towards the B bomb site. And Alexi B is rotating over also. However, Space Soldiers at the very last second here are going to make their way back towards A. And with 20 seconds left, This is a fairly big gamble to take, and there are still 2 HAVU players waiting on this A site. So I don't think they're going to have too much of a chance here as the push comes forward. The nade will slow things down further. Again, the time ticking down. Space Soldiers trying to get the entries, and the Deagles find some frags, but Plant will slow them down. I don't think there's time for the plant, and so now Space Soldiers don't get any money off of this round. This is a horrible position for them now. This is why you don't take these kind of risks when you've only bought up the pistols, because look at their money. Engine saves an MP9, Major saves a Deag, and as does Xantares, but they can't buy here. They can't really have a good buy, but they have to force because the rest of their team just has no cash. And that's why it would have been better to just push onto the B site and just die, to be honest, because now they don't get any bonus money. So we'll have to see Space Soldiers take a gamble of the force into this round. Push will come out quickly towards B, and Sergey could get caught off guard. He hears the steps, and Sergey finds 2 kills there, flicking back for that second headshot so quickly. He's still got support as well from a second player, and it's Zarte coming out into the open to find 1 and a second kill, shutting down that B push. Let's just talk about that double kill from Sergey. It came through so quickly, and that made all the difference in the round, because now generally you'd see a buy into this 4th round, but Space Soldiers are just going to have to go for, again, a low buy with pistols. So not exactly the start that Space Soldiers would have been hoping for, but they will be able to get the buy into the future rounds. So let's at least wait a little bit for them to have the full buy before we judge them too harshly. Again, remember, HAVU did get up to a quick 5-0 lead back on Inferno, and still Space Soldiers were able to come back into that one. So Space Soldiers still have every chance here as Major, peeking out, gets the chance for a frag, but whiffs his shots just a little bit. Does allow Paz, though, to sneak his way out through Squeaky, and this should be a free kill. He splits out the opponent, but just takes his time. And I think HAVU are just about aware that he's pushed his way towards the site. You can see already, though, Space Soldiers grouping up to go for the push. Instead, HAVU overwhelm Major towards mid. And Space Soldiers now thinking twice about going towards that A site, because you can see, you know, a fair few HAVU players are sitting back there to try and hold the cross towards the site. So even though Paz is in an advanced position, not too much of a chance to get anything done from it. Unless the bomb can quickly cross towards the site, but I don't think that's going to happen with 2 players over towards truck, and also Khan in towards highway. In comes the peak, and Paz tried to take advantage of his teammates running out, but he goes down. The bomb did cross to the site though, so Engine at the very least gets the plant before he is overrun. And so Space Soldiers get a little bit of extra money for their buy into the coming round. And that does help them, you know, fairly decently, because they will now have the full nades alongside an AWP if they want it. We haven't really seen Space Soldiers go for AWPs on the T side so far, so it's likely to just be AKs for the entirety of their team. But of course, full nades thanks to so much money being built up due to the bomb plant. So not too bad, all things considered, for Space Soldiers here. They have the chance to prove themselves now in a buy round. Nades back and forth as Sergey takes a fair bit of damage early, as does Zarte down to 60 HP. Let's see HAVU keeping their players fairly far back, except for towards mid. And actually, they're pushing towards B also, so some aggression coming out from HAVU here, which I wasn't quite expecting. It looked like they were going to hold passively towards B after those nades forced them back, but they go for a bit of aggression before now falling back. It seems like the push will come out towards mid as Engine gets the first kill, but Khan is there to help out his fallen comrade to get the trade quickly. Here comes Antares, though, up on white box, peeking in and out. Push comes forwards, but Sergey finds 2 kills. Finally, Paz gets one back for Space Soldiers, but still at a man disadvantage. And Sergey has locked down the push from mid, so even with the bomb going down, Space Soldiers are stuck towards the site itself. See Paz trying to sort of, you know, take control of that angle and be able to get back to A main, but that's not a possibility. Instead, he's forced to fall back over towards Squeaky, but you can see he's out in the open, still taking the fight, tapping away, whiffing heavily. It's Khan now who's going to push through, and he himself will get the kill, but it's back to a one-on-one. Calix taken low, spots out the man pushing. Both players low on health here. Calix is quite predicting the angle as Zate jumps up on top of the site to find the frag. And HAVU do get their 5-0 scoreline, as was the case on the previous map. Fairly tough there for Calix at the end to expect Zate to jump up so quickly, especially as he has to watch the left and right hand side. So Space Soldiers will again go for the buy, thanks to, again, the bomb funds helping out their money. On the HAVU side of things, they've got the double orbs with Zate and Ottend, both investing into one each. And that's something we saw HAVU lack on their CT side of Inferno. They couldn't really get those orbs brought up at any point. So winning this pistol round certainly helped out in that regard. Because Ottend, when he has that orb, can be a completely different player. Strong start for HAVU so far, and they will be looking to keep it up as Zate gets that opening pick with the orb over towards B. Push comes out, and there's Major to get a frag back in towards mid, and he's looking for a second fight, but Khan finds that frag. Forcing him out into the open thanks to that Molotov made a big difference there, because Major didn't really have too much support from his team, because you can already see the rest of his team grouping up around the A site. The Finns do have a fair force here committed towards A, but with these nades coming through, you would certainly expect Space Soldiers to cross towards the site, although Ottend is there with the AWP to lock down that angle. Xantares is going to have to try and push on the edge of this smoke and find the trade, but Ottend is just too quick to take him down. Calix, Fake Plant gets him at least one kill, but there are just so many angles he has to try and deal with, and he won't deal with any of them as he goes down, and HAVU continue their flawless start to this half, 6-0 up now. Again, Space Soldiers are at the very least going to scrape a bye together into this 7th round. But not quite with the full nades they may have been hoping for, and full AKs at the very least. But no AWP to speak of. Again though, Space Soldiers haven't particularly gone for the AWPs on their T side so far. Space Soldiers might be grouping up for a bit of a faster play here. And that's something that could work up against HAVU, who have only really seen Space Soldiers take sort of late round executes. So here comes the push fairly quickly towards the A site, but no smoke's really coming through. Trades continue back and forth, but Khan is still here to anchor this site. He will find a kill on that angle. The smoke had a huge gap in it, and so Khan takes advantage of that, finding a second kill. And this is starting to really get a little bit out of hand from the Space Soldiers' perspective. Not only have they been losing these rounds, but they have also been fairly convincing for HAVU, oftentimes surviving with 3, 4, or even 5 players across the entirety of their team. The Space Soldiers really need to get their heads in the game here, because this was their own map pick. So maybe a timeout will be necessary at some point, just to sort of make sure they get themselves back on track. Zate gets the first kill. Sergey spraying through the smoke, finds a frag. Major did at least get that one kill before he was dropped, but again, trade's always going to go in favor of HAVU. Smoke goes out towards mid for Alex, and that will allow him to come back and commit to this A site, where the push is likely coming through any second. Xantares goes for a couple of pre-fires, hoping to get lucky. But won't be this time. Still plenty of time for Space Soldiers as Paz elsewhere finds a quick deagle shot. There is Khan though to find a headshot, still trying to hold this A site. He is stuck in towards quad. Paz still locks down the position from truck as he finds another one. Finally Khan shuts him down, so it's Xantares in a 1v2. This is a clutch that he could certainly have a chance of winning because he will get this free kill alongside a rifle. Nearly gets caught off guard as Sergey spots him out, and the nade comes in, forcing him out into the open. Zantares nearly finds the spray, but it's Sergey to reply with a couple of shots through the smoke himself and make sure that HAVU keep their winning streak alive. Don't want to say anything too early, but HAVU here with the 8-0 scoreline would be halfway to that 16-0 if they could keep this up. But it certainly feels like Space Soldiers are getting closer and closer to that first round win, so certainly wouldn't expect that to come through. Sergey pushed into a main, goes for the smoke, and decides to slip his way out of there. In the meantime, Ottend in some trouble here, but he lands that quick shot with the AWP and just about scurries away to safety. So again, a man advantage for HAVU at the initial stages of the round. And with Sergey being boosted up, you can see HAVU are much happier to leave him solo on the A site and focus more towards mid where Engine is pushed up. There are 2 players towards white box ready to try and punish Engine if he goes out too far. As the peek comes in, Engine is caught completely unaware. Khan just runs up over the top for an easy headshot. So again, time ticking away, Space Soldiers down 2 men. And their chances are dwindling, but Major at the very least gets a kill towards B, and now the bomb will make its way over. You can see Paz making sure no flank can come through. Oh, and he lines up that pre-fire perfectly there. Great kill from Paz to bring us back to an even position, and Paz finds a second kill. Alexei trying to catch him possibly in the back, but Paz was still watching the flank. And so now as the bomb goes down, Space Soldiers have a great chance to take their first round win here on Cash. The bomb is also planted for B main. So Calix in this position has a good opportunity to try and deny the defuse. And already you can see HAVU, I think, have realized there's just not really any chance. So Ottend and Sergey will save what they can, and HAVU's money isn't as strong as you might expect, considering they've won so many rounds in a row. Khan is up there at $10,000, but a couple of players are looking like they are going to have a drop for them, because right now Alexei only has 1,400. Sergey, even though he saves the rifle, only with $3,000. It should still be a buy for HAVU, but Space Soldiers could certainly break this money with maybe even just one more round win. So Space Soldiers, in my opinion, are still very much in with a shout of, you know, coming back into this map and at least making it more competitive than it is right now. Ottend peeking out towards Squeaky with this AWP. Takes a shot towards Paz that does some damage, but not enough for the kill as it goes through the wall. Again, Ottend, as soon as he's had that AWP, he's really looked like he's been a lot more confident to take these fights and try and get these openings. Nade comes through from Sergey, and Zantares takes a little bit more damage, down to 60 HP. Nades come back from Space Soldiers, but they're not going to get too much off the back of those nades. HAVU, in the meantime, have got Alexei pushed up towards mid, which is a little bit of a risk to take here. He has got, of course, some support over towards Highway, at the very least, from Ottend's AWP. But he certainly could get peeked from boost without Ottend really having the chance to try and find the trade. Again, Space Soldiers taking these rounds very, very slowly, and the bomb is still fairly far back. But there's Major to get that initial kill as Zarte peeks straight into his crosshair. And Major welcomes him with open arms to get that first kill of the round. Seems though HAVU are taking a gamble towards this A site's hold, and with 3 players being committed here, if the bomb were to push forwards, they could be in trouble, but look at Calix go all the way back around. It seems like Space Soldiers are just about aware in time. This kill is vital, and Calix finds it. So now the bomb will make its way back towards B, despite Space Soldiers pushing towards A. Paz survives on 1 HP, winning his fight, but the rotators come through here. This is a crazy round. But finally, The kill's coming in favor of Space Soldiers. The bomb is dropped, though! Oh, Upton just had to survive, and he does it! What on earth was happening at the final seconds there? The push came out towards A. I didn't realize it was the bomb carrier that was dropped towards the site itself. So they just about managed to survive and hold on to that round win. Crazy, crazy scenes in that recent round. I mean, if they just commit to that A-site push there, you would think that Space Soldiers would have not such a bad chance. To be fair, they could have had a pretty good opportunity towards B, but they don't get the bomb down in time. The one kill causes havoc. So they didn't have time to get the bomb planted. And so now we go back into a round that becomes hugely important. No one really has any money in the bank, so this one could define how this first half plays out. Xantares going in first with this AK out towards mid. He's already got his way up towards highway, and so the A players have to be very, very worried of that. They're looking fairly vulnerable on the A site, as Space Soldiers are allowed to gain a lot of map presence early. Not only towards mid, but also some towards the A site itself, with players peeking from A main and Squeaky. So it certainly feels like a decent chance for Space Soldiers to push forwards here, as Xantares spots a player in the back, Khan caught in the open. There is Alexi to find the trade over towards Forklift, but that gives up his position, and they peek towards him to allow Calix that quick headshot. Here comes Ottend with the AWP. He's going to need to get a quick kill to have any real chance for HAVU here, and instead it's Major to find 2 kills from the back. The flank coming through all the way from the B bomb site. I think it was actually through Z possibly, but still, the flank came through, and that's all that matters. Pause comes through. This was called by Space Soldiers previously, and they have said they are ready to get straight back underway, but HAVU are just taking a little bit of time here, it seems. And of course, into this 12th round, I mean, there's not really going to be too much chance for them. You can see the buy will be, well, if they do even invest anything into this round, very weak. And I wouldn't really expect them to go for too much. Looks like HAVU have called for the unpause, so we will get to head back underway. And Space Soldiers at the very least here, I mean, if they do, you know, win 4 rounds in a row, get that 9-6 half, I think that's good enough to compete into the second half, but, you know, that's certainly not going to be a guarantee with HAVU still putting up a fight even in this very round with CZs and pistols. Again, we've seen Space Soldiers play very slowly so far. Some nades coming out towards mid from Xantares. Bomb is already making its way back towards B, so we might yet again see a bit of a faster play come out from the Space Soldiers roster. If that were to be the case, the B site is currently wide open. The only player anywhere near is Zate in towards CT. Sure, there's a couple of players towards E who could rotate over, but as Zate goes down, the bomb should just be planted without any real contest from HAVU. And that is the risk of taking a gamble on rounds like these where you just have the pistols. Certainly don't mind the decision, but they stack the A site down towards mid and it doesn't work out for them. So Space Soldiers now with their 5 AKs shouldn't really be pushing through aggressively here. This is very unnecessary from Xantares. He's going to go forwards, and he risks losing his AK if he's not careful. Khan comes out, but Xantares is skilled enough to take them both down. Sergey finds 1 kill in the back, and here comes Alexi to find a frag of his own. And that's 2 AKs gifted into the open waiting arms of HAVU. And that's why the, you know, Space Soldiers here should have just pushed through together. I don't know if they realised they were up against a weak buy, but there's no need to be pushing out, you know, across the map like that, because you're always going to risk being taken down by some players waiting for exit frags. 2 AKs for HAVU saved into this subsequent round. And of course, if Space Soldiers just all exit through the sort of the same position, then there's no chance for this for HAVU. They wouldn't have anything in this round, really. However, now they get at least the 2 AKs to work off of and try and get something done. One on towards Sergey, one on towards Alexei. Sergey's playing towards B, whereas Alexei is out towards mid, and it seems like someone's going to get boosted over here for the CT side. And Alexei with this AK will be going up and trying to get things done at the early stages. He comes in, Calix is caught off guard. And that 1 kill is more than enough for Alexei. He's happy with that to just sit back. Molly comes out from Xantares, that should force him off with the boost, and Khan himself is forced to peek out, but he goes down. Still though, Alexei is up on towards the boosted position. Finally, Engine swings out from mid to find that trade. But an even trade isn't too bad, all things considered, for HAVU. Unfortunately for them though, they only have the 1 rifle remaining in the hands of Sergey. Sergey was thinking about rotating back towards A, or possibly over towards mid there, but seems like he's decided to play it a bit more safe. And so that leaves Ottend on the A site in a very tough spot. The push were to come towards him. It seems like it should be coming towards him momentarily, because Paz with the bomb is making his way forwards. Coming out towards the B site by himself, Zarte drops down the smoke. And that might just be enough to sell the fake, because already you can see Ottend on this A site is going to have to try and hold this off. Push comes forwards, and Ottend is still here, but he goes down. So despite Sergey getting a kill on towards Major, who was lurking at B, won't really lead to too much as he is the 1 man left. He's going to go for this one, despite not having the defuse kit, making his way forwards. The Space Soldiers decided to peek him aggressively there, which wasn't really needed, but still works out for them as they get their 4th round together. And finally put, a stake for themselves on this map, because if they hadn't have started winning rounds soon, they would have been in real trouble. But they at least get 4 rounds on the board before now HAVU go back to a bye with double AWPs yet again on the CT side. Haven't really seen Zarte have too much success with that secondary AWP so far, but Ottend has been pretty good when he's had the AWP, at least on this map. And there's a gap in his A main smoke, so Ottend peeks through it early on and takes down Calix. In the meantime, Major is pushing through towards B, and that's a quick headshot lined up on towards Zarte. So again, that secondary AWP not able to find a kill, as his head just gets taken clean off by Major pushing forwards. Again though, just look at where the bomb is right now. Paz is nowhere near the action as the push comes in towards the B bomb site. Seems like they might be trying to sell this fake, and Major's going to have to push through the CT smoke to try and assist over towards A. There is Engine to get the 1 headshot. The bomb is making its way back, but I don't think it's really in time. You can see now Paz is just left in a 1-on-3. He at the very least will get a fight towards mid that goes in his favour. But I'm not exactly sure what the game plan was there for Space Soldiers. 40 seconds left, and Paz is going to make his way towards B. This is the site that HAVU have much less presence towards. You can see Sergey in towards Heaven is playing very passively. In the 2v1, generally you're just going to want to stick together and make sure you can trade, and it seems like HAVU are somewhat trying to do that as they commit towards mid. This is very surprising from HAVU though, completely giving up the bomb site. I think you can see Paz a little bit confused by it as he goes peeking out. He gets another 1-on-1 fight. And so now Paz has a real chance to pull off this 1-on-3. As he brings it back to a 1-on-1, the bomb plants will come through. Does he expect Alexei to be all the way from B main though? That is the question we have to ask. And he doesn't. Alexei takes the head quickly before Paz can get into a better position. And so HAVU will be able to find themselves double digits. Still though, that was a lot closer than HAVU would have been initially hoping for. But all things considered, 10 rounds on the board. I'm sure they won't be too disappointed considering they are already leading the way massively in terms of at least the round scoreline. Space Soldiers will have to buy up into this last round of the half, of course, but they do have Major forced down to a Deeg. In the meantime, there are some money issues for both sides. As you can see, HAVU, even though they got the rounds win, they only saved the 1 gun, so Zarte at the very least is down to a FAMAS. A couple of players might be missing some nades. So we head back underway into this round where HAVU don't have too much utility. But already, Space Soldiers are lining up around this A site, so we might see some quick aggression here. Lining up the nades over the top. Push will come forwards from Space Soldiers quickly, but can't boost it up. Finds 2 kills before the trade comes in, and Alexi also gets a frag. He even finds 2 frags on the hole before Xantares shuts him down. So Xantares is left in a 1 on 3. And if any man were to try and win this for Space Soldiers, he'd probably choose him. But it won't be happening this time because Otten shuts him down. And a great A-hold there for HAVU, considering it wasn't looking great in terms of their utility. They still shut it down. And I'm a bit surprised Space Soldiers went for such a quick play there. Seems like maybe they thought they were being read when they went for some, you know, sort of slow pushes towards the sites. But I wouldn't even mind just waiting, you know, until there's a minute left on the clock and then trying to execute towards the A site. Just to make sure you're not really, you know, pushing straight out through these smokes into these tough spots. Again, taking a quick look at the scoreboard. Not really too much in terms of players standing out so far. There have certainly been some individual rounds where we've seen players step up. I mean, there was that round where Paz, you know, really opened things up towards A. And he tried that 1-on-3, of course, that nearly came through. But Space Soldiers are going to really need to win some rounds rather than just taking them close in this second half. And heading into their CT side, I think they're going to have some real issues here. Generally, Space Soldiers have shown a fairly strong T side in the half that I think has been quite reliable for them, but clearly not the case here today. They only get 4 rounds. And so again, unless they win at this pistol... Oh dear. Engine gets knifed in the back. That's not what you like to see at the start of a pistol round that you really need to win to have any chance of the comeback. Of course, without the Kevlar, it does, I think, even more damage. So he goes down to 64 HP. Not the best of starts there. But here go HAVU lining up this B aggression, and I think they're going to go for a run boost round the corner. Luckily for Space Soldiers, there's no one trying to hold there, but here comes the push. Sergey going in first, thanks to that run boost. They're looking to find some entries towards this site, and Khan does indeed find a frag, but Major is still here, shutting them down. An Engine on the rotate also gets a kill, so Zate, the one man who wasn't pushing with the team, is left versus 4. There's a quick headshot, but in comes the trade, and so Space Soldiers, despite some team damage, will take the pistol round, and will stake their claim at the comeback on this map. Very nice shots from Major there on the B site, holding things off. And he's currently top fragging for the Space Soldiers side, which isn't something you see all that often. Either way, HAVU didn't get the bomb plant, so they have gone for the full force buy. If they were to push towards B, with Calix being the only player here with just a UMP, that could be fairly difficult, but Major is now in position in towards Heaven. Again, it's only 2 UMPs on towards this site, though. So if these flashbangs, you know, came through quickly and sort of allowed HAVU to make their way up close on towards B, I think there's every chance they could get some kills at the very least. Calix drops a smoke after hearing the flashes come through, and the flashbangs don't really do too much. So HAVU will just have to commit to this push dry. With only one real flashbang left on Zate. Here it comes, and here it does come the push off the back of it. Space Soldiers already rotating over, but Major goes down early. As Otten just gets some chest shots, and all the kills are coming through everywhere now. Xantares finds 2 back, but it's only Paz left alive. And so out of nowhere, HAVU overwhelm the B bomb site and force Paz to try and clutch it for his team. He's had some good efforts so far, and that Molotov will help him out as Zate is forced to move down to half HP. Smoke comes through also, so Paz starting this off fairly well, and he still has a few more nades to use as he's just picking up HEs and smokes off his teammates' bodies. He's going to try and win a fight though as he spots out the first man, but there goes Sergey pushing through the smoke, which was always going to be a risk. But considering he just had the CZ, he was willing to take it, and it works out for HAVU. They win that force buy. And just as it looks like Space Soldiers might be coming back into this one, they lose the all-important second round after winning the pistol, and now they themselves are forced to go to the back onto the back foot, sorry, with just pistols brought up in this one. That round might be the one that makes the difference on this map. As HAVU now are in the driver's seat, to say the least. Early round nades coming through, but not really doing any damage so far. We are seeing Alexi just holding off towards mid, making sure no aggression can come. Jumping to this secondary box, why not? On this sort of round, I wouldn't mind Space Soldiers taking some more risks here, because so far they are holding very passively. They have at least got 3 players stacked towards A, but Engine is now going to rotate off back towards mid. So it seems like Space Soldiers are fairly confident they have a chance here with the Desert Eagles and the CZs. And I mean, they do have some very skilled players, so there is some chance for them to compete in this round. But those skilled players haven't particularly been showing up here on Cash. Haven't really seen, you know, as many individual players come out from Xantares and Paz specifically, who are playing very well on that first map. It's not really carried over here into Cash, seemingly. So here comes the push towards B. Calix with the D does get a quick headshot. That was only the one player trying to sell the fake, as the push on the A site will be much more successful for HAVU. Oh, Sergey just taps off the head over towards Truck as Xantares goes down. So with 10 seconds left, the fake from HAVU will find them a free bomb plant. Again, taking things a little bit close there, HAVU, but they had it in control, clearly, as they get the bomb down on A. With 10 seconds left, you always feel a little bit worried that there could be a player sneaking by somewhere to try and deny the bomb plant, but doesn't happen this time. They clear everything diligently. So Space Soldiers will just look for some exit kills, but HAVU should just exit as a team. We see Otten going in for the kill on towards the Galil, and they will all exit through A main to be as safe as possible. So Space Soldiers, at the very least, again, saving a UMP alongside a CZ. So that's at least something for them to work with, I guess, in this next round. But considering how many rounds they are down, tough spot for them to be in. Not too much investment from Space Soldiers, of course. Calix and Engine saved what they have. So it's just really Paz buying up a Deeg. There is a bit of a sack towards the A site, and oh, Zarte sprays through the squeaky door to take down Paz after he got the first kill. Xantares with his USP trying to find something, but Zarte gets another wallbang to find his second kill of the round. As the AKs continue to push forwards, they will easily overwhelm Xantares with just the USP. So this round going fairly as expected, even if a few of the kills were quite surprising from Zarte through the wall. Of course, he knew where Paz was. You know, you can always look on the minimap there when Paz was rattling off those shots. So, standard stuff. Zarte lined up the angle through the door perfectly. And so, as round number 19 goes into the favour of the Finns, they will have the 14-5 lead that surely should just be too much to overcome. Major hoping for a knife kill. It's not happening, mate. No one's coming this way. It's going to open up the door, though, and Sergey was running away just then. But Major says peekaboo, comes out into the open, and that's going to cost him. He goes down. Calix, again, saving a UMP, though, over towards mid. So that's something, I suppose, to try and work with into this round if he wants to keep it. He does also save Kevlar, so he could just go for a buy here and be fairly happy with that. But no, he is going to go ahead and buy up just some nades alongside this ump. So considering, of course, Space Soldiers pretty much have to win out every round from this point, I would have preferred Calix to just buy up a rifle. But he goes for the UMP, decides to keep it, which I guess is something. I mean, he's got the full nades off the back of it, which is maybe what he was going for. But still, you know, he could have just, you know, not bought up a couple of nades and got a rifle, which I'd have preferred. But that's his decision. It might not matter too much because already Alexi gets the first kill on the round out towards mid. So HAVU, after getting the first pick, will just chill out. Not doing too much. Sergey is by himself towards B, so if a push were to come in towards him, he could be a little bit vulnerable, but it doesn't seem to be happening as he throws out his nades. You can see Space Soldiers right now, very little presence towards the A site itself. Whenever you go down a man on the CT side, oftentimes this is the issue you have with, you know, only 4 players left. It's fairly difficult to hold off all the angles you need to. So you can see now 2 players committed to the A site and 2 players on B for Space Soldiers, but that's not going to work for them. The individual fights go in favor of HAVU, as within a couple of seconds they keep their 2-man advantage. Xantares turns his back and accepts his death. Not quite expecting that angle. So it seems like HAVU will almost certainly be able to close this one out now. Space Soldiers do have the buy, and Calix of course can afford the AWP. Thanks to that previous round where he didn't buy up. Nades coming through. HAVU themselves boosting up a fair few players here up towards mid early on. The 4 UMPs won't really be wanting to take fights at this sort of range. They'll be hoping to get some closer ones. Good smoke there to keep his teammate alive, but as the nades go in, Engine will go down low. May have just managed to get his way back to safety though, surprisingly. Elsewhere, it's Calix to open things up with the AWP. So that AWP making a difference at the start of the round. But of course, HAVU are still trying to push together as a unit, but Major pushed out through main to get a kill. There goes Alexi though. Oh, Alexi gets 3. Swinging things back into favor of HAVU as he manages to single-handedly pull them back. Calix at the very least pushes out through B and gets that information. The bomb is still in towards Garage, so HAVU need to be a little careful. And again, the time is ticking down here, so Space Soldiers, if they could try and just slow this down, could have a chance still. And just look at Calix go. He's continuing to push out here. He doesn't spot out the bomb, but he's pushed all the way around, and the boosted player, Alexi, catches him off guard. 4 kills in the round for Alexi, and now Engine has to clutch in a 1-on-3. Oh, just spot out the first man, but he goes down, and so HAVU will take this second map, and we will go to a decider. Make sure to come back for the 3rd map soon.
Farmskins.com. Top 2, the most visited case opening platform worldwide. More than 70,000 case openings every day. Many cases which have become legendary for our users. Join the Farmskins Club and get your free daily case today.
Cracking the code, taking your aim, digging for gold. It's so far away, so fire and load. It's never too late. All that you found, all you see, circles it down on endless repeat. Starting now, you gotta believe. What are you waiting for? 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 Cracking the code, taking your aim, digging for gold that's so far away. So fire and load, it's never too late. All that you found, all you see, circles it down on endless repeat. Starting now, you gotta believe. What are you waiting for? For now you can stay right here, we will play until somehow you can find a slightly different frame of mind. Right here in my arms, away from all harm, you'll be safe from all the flares, although I know you don't care. You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly better frame of mind. When they say you will fall, you can reach nothing at all. Hide your tracks beneath
shattered frame of mind. Wish that you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly better frame of mind. Take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Wish that you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find a slightly better frame of mind. And when the light comes through, when that day isn't you, then it will be time for a new frame of mind. When all eyes are on you, you will know what to do, since you will have found your new frame of mind. When you lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines, but always know that you'll be safe. I'll be here throughout your days. Come find me and we will play. I'm in way too deep and I'm drowning in devotion. I'm lost, can't find a new emotion that's ever enough, and I can't deny it's real, 'cause there's no deeper
Free down, mislead them, ride with it, we don't need them. Gonna make nobody left to be dead. Overtaking, this is my boss brand. Yeah, we get to Nia, there's a virus coming to eat ya. Gonna make nobody left to be dead. Overtaking, this is my boss brand. We go higher, we catching fire. Left to be dead, left to be dead. This is my boss brand. We go higher, we catching fire. Left to be dead, left to be dead. This is my boss brand.
Rise it up like an endless crescendo. 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 Rise it up, 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 like a
Let's get back into some Counter-Strike. I'm joined here with Hawker, obviously here today. We've been having a couple of problems, but Hawker, you've been carrying it through, right? What do you think of this? What do you think of this matchup before we get into this pistol round?
I mean, a little bit surprising that HAVU just come out so strong on Cash, but they managed to pull it off. And now, I mean, heading into Overpass, I think HAVU do have a fairly good chance. Again, this is a map that they've beat, you know, Heroic and Godsent on in the past, which is certainly two teams that you wouldn't, I don't think, expect for the most part HAVU to beat. So clearly some good results for them as well.
Yeah, and we were talking at the start of this broadcast how HAVU's just been in such good form. And maybe that performance on Cash, obviously Space Soldier's not performing very well on Cash yesterday, despite being their map pick in both, was disappointing in both. But we are getting live into this pistol round very shortly, so we'll switch over to that now. Have you got any quick predictions for this follow-up map?
It's pretty hard to know exactly after those rounds went like that, but I'll give it to HAVU, I think, after, you know, taking Cash so convincingly. Either way, we are underway into the pistol actually here. So Major buys up the nades, Alex with the kit and the smoke. Fairly normal stuff. We're going to see Space Soldiers already leaning towards that B bomb site. Khan is the first man here attempting to hold things off, but he goes back a bit more passively over towards the site itself rather than peeking out Monster. So they won't really have the early information here, and that could be an issue with only two players really committed to the B site itself, because the push will come out through Monster. And Khan on the other side will look to find some quick headshots. Here come the Space Soldiers pushing through, and already they will gain control towards the site. Zarte was playing very passively, and that's going to allow the bomb to go down with ease as Engine nails another shot, finding a second on the round. Here comes Alex, though, finding a frag in reply, and the USPs are finding frags all across the map right now. One frag for each of the surviving players, but here goes Engine with a third. Finally, Otten puts an end to that and shuts him down, leaving Xantares by himself in a 1v2. Picks up the first, swings back around, but gets dinked down low through the wall. Gets the headshot, though, and now Xantares has the chance, but doesn't know exactly where Alex is coming from. So it will be HAVU to take that pistol round on the retake, but still very, very close. And Space Soldiers there, I mean, if those kills didn't come through so quickly, would have had a pretty good chance to close that out. But then HAVU, I mean, they came through very, very fast there on the quick retake with those frags. And that made all the difference, of course. The Space Soldiers couldn't really get in the best of positions after the plant. So Space Soldiers, despite the bomb plants, have gone for some investment here with a few pistols bought up. And a few smokes to work with also, so there is a chance they could try to execute towards a site. See a fair few rifles on the CT side, a couple of M4s as well as a FAMAS. Space Soldiers will line up around this A bomb site, and you can see they've managed to gain control towards A long. So as the push comes forwards, there's some chances for them here, but again, with 3 players holding, not going to be all that easy to make their way forwards. So they will try to do so. The pistol's coming up close, and Edging gets that quick headshot, looking for the second kill, but he won't find it just yet. And as he goes down, that might just shut down the push. As Xantares and Major stuck behind the smoke at A long, didn't want to take the risk of pushing through. So Xantares and Major between them will look for something, but there's already Khan in towards Connector, making sure no rotations can come back round. More importantly, the bomb out in the open, and here comes Khan pushing aggressively, but he made some steps there. Xantares didn't quite hear them though. So as Alex gets that kill, Xantares almost certainly go down as Khan is behind him, and Khan, I thought might have been going for the knife, but just decides to take the kill with the MP9. And the 2-0 lead comes through. But again, as we were saying, Space Soldiers will get to buy up into this round. AKs across the entirety of their team, as well as a decent amount of nades for some of the players, but at the same time, Xantares doesn't have any nades to speak of, Calyx with just 1 flash. This isn't really, you know, all that much utility if you wanted to sort of do a full execute towards a site. So that's something to keep in mind here, heading into this early gun round. Again, remember, the first 2 maps both went 5-0 in favour of HAVU to start us off. And HAVU will look to recreate that here for Overpass, as they already have the 2-0 lead. Space Soldiers not really gaining too much ground just yet. You can see a couple of players working up A long on the minimap, alongside some of the players gaining control towards B short. Also, just want to point out, Major, to buy up this AK, couldn't quite go for the Kevlar to make sure he had some nades. So that's something to remember here. As with 50 seconds left, Space Soldiers will have to group up fairly soon. It seems like they have made their decision to go towards that B site. Although Major is fairly far back because he is lining up a smoke, so it will be somewhat of an execute towards B, but they don't really have all that much to work with. Just, you know, a few flashes alongside the 1 smoke. 30 seconds left and still 2 incendiaries on the CT side, so that could be brutal in terms of slowing things down as the second smoke comes up. And HAVU have done a great job at holding onto their utility long enough to make sure Space Soldiers have a troublesome time pushing forward towards the site. And already Zarte off the back of the flash gets a kill, as does Alex. Finally, Xantares gets an entry and he finds a second frag. But again, the time is ticking away, forcing the players to push forwards, and Paz is just nowhere near the action. And so HAVU, again, off the back of really just saving that utility long enough, get the round win, mainly just due to that alone, and that makes a really big difference for them there. Very difficult, of course, to push through when those incendiaries come up when there's only 20 seconds left. And that is proven as HAVU continue to extend their lead. And of course, Paz saved the AK at the end there, so the money is a little bit disjointed now on the T side of things. You can see no one investing alongside him, so Paz will be the one man, likely falls down to a weaker buy heading into the 5th round, where they will likely go for a full buy, because the rest of Space Soldiers are just saving. Although Paz gets a quick headshot there. Xantares went out first, taking the brunt of the damage, and that allowed Paz to open things up. Hits Engine and AK. Sorry, an M4. Already that is lost as Sergey just goes huge, finding 4 kills on the hold. Mostly up against players with pistols, but still incredible skill to spray them all down. And there is Sergey coming through for the ace with the USP. Great stuff there. Showing why you use that unsilenced M4 to completely shut out the push with those 30 bullets. And so now, of course, we go back to a buy where Space Soldiers have to just go for 4 AKs, with Paz only having a Deeg. That 4K from Sergey, though, was incredibly quick. Those final 2 kills especially on the 4K part of that. Very nicely done. There's Otten to get that opening in towards Connector, and he's got Alex to support him. So already HAVU again gain a man advantage, even a two-man advantage very, very quickly. And I think this might be a reaction from Space Soldiers after that slow round went so poorly for them. They try and switch things up with a quicker play, and it doesn't really work whatsoever. And already Space Soldiers are going to call for a timeout because you can see HAVU just winning individual fights across all of their players. Paz, at the very least, picks up an AK after only having a dig at the start of the round. 1v5 for Paz. He's had a few good goes at clutches in this series so far. I'm sure a 1v5 will not be happening. So he does peek out, but again, Sergey just wins the duel. You'd have thought that Paz would be able to get that headshot most of the time, but not to be the case as, don't know if you saw that there, but Sergey bought a P90 and accidentally threw it away. So that's a little bit of a misbuy for HAVU, a little bit of a waste of $2,300 as the P90 just sits on the floor. But not too worrisome because Zate is going to pick it up, it seems. No, it goes back to the M4. So fair play. Not going to be using the P90 up against the low buy. And Space Soldiers, I mean, they could invest into this round, but I don't think it would be advised. Even though they could find, you know, at the very least a few AKs, not really going to be worthwhile with how much nades they would have. So would just like to see some pistols alongside some nades really for Space Soldiers here. And of course, this timeout is a good chance to just, you know, slow things down, make sure that this game doesn't get out of hand. Because again, this is the third map in a row where HAVU have got out to that quick 5-0 lead. And that makes things much easier for them heading into the later stages when they already have that sort of buffer to play with. So the pistols are invested, and some nades. Smoke some flashes for Major and Engine respectively. And the rest of the team does have Kevlar, so this is a good buy, I believe, for Space Soldiers. You know, they will have still, you know, the full buy into the next rounds. And Otten misses that shot early on there. There wasn't even really any nades used, but still Xantares sticks around for a little bit too long, as Otten won't miss that easy shot a second time. There goes Sergey finding a quick headshot of his own. The boost comes through for Calix to find one back. And Calix finds a second headshot there. Not expecting Sergey to go so aggressive, but it costs him his life, as well as a rifle for Space Soldiers. So this round isn't over just yet, because Space Soldiers work their way back in thanks to Calix. And he will get rewarded with the M4, because of course his two remaining teammates don't have Kevlar. Still, though, the time becoming a factor because the bomb is fairly far away from a site with 30 seconds left. They will elect to hit that B bomb site with Khan the only man holding here, but he does have an AK to hold this off. He is having to watch towards two angles, but it's likely the push will only come through Monster. So he should be favoured to at least get one kill. Push comes out, Khan drops the first, looking for more, and he finds the second frag. That's the rifle dropped down as Khan continues to execute opponents. Dropping all three players over towards Monster. Strong hold there from Khan by himself to lock down that B bomb site and keep this start for HAVU going. 6-0 up now, and again, this has been a consistent issue for Space Soldiers. They're having to come back from these early deficits, which is very difficult to do. Again, the AK is brought up alongside nades for Space Soldiers. So they have the buy back on their side. But I think an issue for Space Soldiers here is that when they, you know, get to these sort of deficits early on, oftentimes you kind of hope that your AWPer can really step up on the T side and maybe find you an entry to make the round win a little bit easier, to sort of break that streak. But of course, Space Soldiers don't really have an AWPer that's comfortable enough with trying to get that AWP going on the T side. So oftentimes we've seen them have to just go for the AKs and rely on, you know, someone to find a quick headshot at long range, and that's not always possible. Nade dropped over the top, and Calyx takes some damage from it. As Sergey himself will follow up with a second nade coming through, and Calyx now down to 20 HP from those nades being dropped onto his head early on. There goes one smoke out towards the A bomb site. Still a fair amount of nades left for Space Soldiers to pick up with as the spray comes out. Ottend missing that shot on the aggressive angle. Gets caught right out in the open. So now with 30 seconds left, the push will continue towards the A bomb site. But HAVU have been able to rotate up fairly quickly here if they wanted to. You see Sergey and Alex already in position, as well as Khan making his way forwards. But Sergey won't be in position anymore because he gets dropped by Major. And so now Space Soldiers should just about be able to take their first round win, as already HAVU are making their way all the way away from the A sites. Ooh. That was tough to say. So it does seem like the save will be coming through. And Space Soldiers themselves, of course, their money isn't good. So they will likely just be, you know, looking mostly to save these AKs. Getting 5 AKs into the next round would certainly help them out, just so that they don't have to reinvest and they can start to at least try to build up some money. So as we head into the 8th round, we get to see again the AWP of Ottend. 5 rifles again for Space Soldiers, not wanting to go for the AWP. And they might get punished for it because Ottend with his AWP has free reign across the map to take those initial fights. And he finds the first kill and now, of course, will happily fall back to play safe on A. Just as Space Soldiers win their first round, they get a sort of blow to them at the start of this one. Engine goes down early and leaves them in some trouble. Time still ticking down as Sergey pushed up towards A long, gets a quick kill, looking for the second, and Major cannot find that trade. So again, Space Soldiers just get picked apart at the start of the rounds before they can get anywhere near the bomb sites. And that's really been a huge issue for them here on Overpass so far. Just Santares and Calyx left to try and do something, but they will need a miracle to win this round.
Tag team me in. Tag team me in,
Seems
Hawker.
like Space Soldiers themselves need a hero right now, and maybe their hero will be Squid, who will be joining us now for the cast.
That was on stream, by
liked
the way. That wasn't like that was a beautiful tag team. You should have been like, bam! I'm like straight in the ring. I don't know. I have no idea how my mic is. We've been trying to fix stuff today, but looks like Sergey is going to pick up that next frag. HAVU with a fairly convincing round, all things considered. They're starting to build a little bit of bank up. Are you still here, Hawker, for a little chat, or are you gone?
I'm going to leave you right now.
You're going to leave me right now? Alright, sure thing. I'm going to take over, fellas, ladies and gents, because the world has been tearing up around us today. Thank you very much for Hawker. I bet you've never tag teamed like a cast before. I'm literally going to tag team Semler in like 20 minutes.
WW.
Yeah, basically, and then we're going to like fight someone. I'm so high. It's like, right, so 1-7. That's our scoreline. HAVU with a pretty solid setup. Loads of nades all around, and Space Soldiers have AKs galore everywhere. It's Space Soldiers need to pick apart somewhere. Obviously, after that single convincing round with all 5 players alive and HAVU going for the save in the 7th, it means that Space Soldiers have been able to afford a buy into this one after minimal investment in the last. They're going to be sending a couple of players up A, and they're just playing a pretty solid default, making sure HAVU isn't going to get up too close and personal and right in their face. What's going on? People not complaining about the sound, so I am happy with that. Either way, if you've got anything to say about it, then you can type in chat. I think that we probably got a few Turks in the chat, so well, welcome on board, everybody. If you've got any questions, you can type them in, and I'll be here, well, for the rest of the day, having a chat, having a bit of a chinwag, asking you questions. Are you a drunk caster? When did HAVU save? Well, they saved in the 3 versus 5. They didn't go clean mode, they saved in that afterplant position and keep the 3 rifles back instead of actually like going in and trying to do more damage onto space soldiers. Point in evidence. So he's gonna blast his way back into A as his bomb still hasn't gone down. Only 20 seconds left. A nice shot from Otto as he takes a second as well. Straight through the box, almost tagging him down. CZ's out and he sidelines him. HAVU salvage back the 8th round. And this is looking fairly convincing at this point. It's obviously going to probably be the 9th. After HAVU almost take double digits. Looking pretty good for these Finns, as ever since that first map, they've just been rocking and rolling on the board, and Space Soldiers haven't been able to do all too much about it. Previously on Cache, which should have been a good Space Soldiers map, and here on Overpass as well, which likewise is a map that they should be proficient on, especially on this T side, which I'd say that they're favoured on. Normally, Overpass being a slightly CT-sided map, you should be looking to rack up 9, possibly double digits. Looks like Otto and Sergey are just going to slice and dice these pistols. Just Calix left. He's likely going to get finished off by Alex as well. So only the 1 kill as the 8k drops. And HAVU still looking solid and steady. And they're going to be able to buy that bank as well. Look at that bank building up. 7,000 to 10,000 to 12,000. All upon 3 or 4 players. Everybody with HAVU able to buy into consecutive rounds here. And Space Soldiers are going to have to deal with that. They've got to put together 2 or 3 in a row if they want to break this buy and put any considerable acceptable rounds on the board. Here come a couple of preliminary Molotovs as that Nate dunks down, doesn't do a lot of damage. Space Soldiers right onto this B site. Mate's just going to be the first man in. Everybody flashed up, means he can get up close and personal for the first and the second. Flicks around and Khan goes down. Space Soldiers make the burst, and this could be their second here. As Sanchez still rocking and rolling on this site. It's only Otto and Sergey left who desperately and direly need an entry, and it's going to be off the back of Otto to do it. His Space Soldiers being locked in here. His 2 CTs. Their job made a lot harder by that one going down. Otto just saving the AWP here. That's pretty much all said and done. So everybody, fast kebab tactic. I love a good old bit of kebab. Ramazan, how are you, man? Thanks for joining us today. I love a little bit of kebab. Germany. I obviously live in Germany, so well, it might not be obvious, but I do live in Germany, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. A lot of kebab. A lot of good old fun. Either way, he's getting timed out. Stop timing these kids out for saying kebab. I said kebab. You're going to time me out? HAVU, 9 rounds on the board. Going to be another follow-up buy here. They're going to be able to afford another one even after this full investment here. That puts Space Soldiers in such a cataclysmic position. But they have to get back-to-back rounds. What's going on, everybody? What's going on in the chat? Is everybody happy? Everybody happy today? Is anybody happy, in fact? What's the use of Betty, says Azrael? You can go on our website and you can buy stuff. You can buy keyboards and you can buy shirts and stuff like that. You can get them posted to your house just by watching our stream. You get 10 betters for 10 minutes. And you can also bet them on roulette. So you can go !roulette for a certain amount of gambling involved. Nice first shot by Alex. There's 2 members already going down. HAVU really holding serve here. Getting fairly lucky off the openings. As that nade's going to do big damage. Straight onto Engine. Down to 71. And this is Space Soldiers taking down to 3 and damage at that before they even make their way onto the bomb site. Engine's going to be the first man in. These Molotovs rain on through and Zart holds down the angle. 1 for him and Calix swings back in. So many heads to shoot, but he can only find the 1. Popped by Otto from up top as Paz, last player alive, has to go back and salvage that bomb. 35 seconds on the board. It's all a guessing game now. Which site's he going to go to? Diacaster says, Jarab, do I eat a lot of kebab? No, I don't actually eat as much kebab as I want because it's quite intense to cook it, isn't it? You've got to like, you can actually buy like rolls of kebab over here in Germany. I don't know if that's common in other countries. Interesting stuff though. I like it. I like a good old bit of kebab. Remember, we've got a next best of 3 here at 10 o'clock tonight, a CST. Shot from Paz as he makes his way onto this site. That Molotov isn't going to... Oh, it is going to stretch. He's going to die by it. Perfectly placed by Alex as that smoke actually fails. Paz drops and that's HAVU on double digits already. Should be able to close this match out fairly soon. And it's off the back of the 2 players we build at the start of the night. Sergey and Ottend, both players have shown us so much in the last couple of months, especially the last couple of weeks. Obviously, Space Soldiers doing decent work as well. Big 2-0 against Envious last night. So HAVU just going to hold down the line. Beautiful from Zart. Didn't see anything, but still nailed them both. Paz a major drop. And Space Soldiers, they've got to be able to deal with this. Xantres is going to be the first man in behind this smoke as Calyx takes a shot. Xantres with another one. Knows that there's another man rolling on this site. And Xantres is going to dispose of him, doing his best, fighting his way back in here. His engine is going to poke through with a flashbang. Xantres still needs to hit a follow-up headshot. HAVU know exactly where he is. He's going to even molly them off, so intelligent play from him. He does spot another one. Xantres, a big triple kill. And Alex, last alive. Xantres just playing the head glitch angle. Alex has no idea that both of these are on 1 HP apiece. They've got no health to work with, 1 bullet each. But he's going to have to walk into this head glitch angle. And Xantres, oh, nails it! The quad kill for Xantres. A beautiful round from him. 10-3 now. And Space Soldiers finally putting something on this board. Racking at least some points up. Space Soldiers perfectly getting back into this game. Looks like Otto wants to go for a pick over the smoke and legs major. Beautiful shot, but HAVU need to work their magic around this as the AWPer is tagged fairly low. See Xantres still with that AK-47 now. As they're edging the way up long, Ottend is going to have to back off. It's right into engine. UMP drive-by as he swipes him out the server. Sergey still on the A site as Space Soldiers do draw their way a little more level in. It's HAVU needing to work with a man disadvantage here. Obviously Major's very low, but he's got an AWP. That pretty much neutralizes the health deficit, as 1 bullet is all it takes for him to just eliminate somebody from the server entirely. Another shot from Calyx on the way onto the A site means that HAVU don't have a lot of space to work with. 1 man dropping out as well. Unfortunate for HAVU is this could actually give Space Soldiers a way back into this half and a way back into this game, but I felt like this round was almost a done deal anyway. Zart going down, it's just Khan left, and it's going to be the 4th round for Space Soldiers, and potentially a 5th, since HAVU have almost no money to work with, but we know how much that can really work out on your CT side. Khan are going to be the difference maker here and does find the 1. Needs to keep this M4 alive if he wants any rifles into this 15th and final round of the half. Has charged him down, finishes him off. So HAVU are up 10-4, but it's all about whether they can close it out now. We've seen lots of decent comebacks from Space Soldiers the last couple of weeks, and that's what it's all about, whether they can finish them off here. This pause probably not going to be all too long, as HAVU already have 5 players back in the server. Three times odds for HAVU apparently on this, as I think that that's a little unfair on them. I feel like this is a much closer match than that. I certainly wouldn't give you those odds. But yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat. Is everybody asking questions? What is the Observer doing? The Observer's having a fit, isn't he? The auto director is having a complete and utter fit. It is all over the place. Let's see. Any questions in the chat? Anybody asking anything? Let's have a look. I don't really know. We've got 3,700 people here, so thanks for joining us today. If you've got anything to say, you can throw it in that Twitch chat. Obviously, we'd like to get you involved. Somebody said OP, then a Dorito chip, and then a punch. What does that mean? Is that like catchphrase or something? Am I supposed to be able to guess that? Is that what I see? Oh no. Caster, you eat kebab? I said I eat kebab, but not as much as I want to. There's a squid in the chat. Thank you for that, my friend. You can put some squids in the chat. Of course, I'm Squid. I'm Squid CS, our resident British caster here in Hamburg. Am I British? Yeah. I'm British. I'm from just outside Gloucestershire, but moved over to Hamburg fairly recently, last couple of months, to cast some Counter-Strike. What's my opinion of Finnish CS? I think that that there's actually potential there. Obviously, with players like HAVU saying that he wants to play in the Finnish scene again, I feel like he can bring them to like a top 20 team, top 15 possibly lineup, and be able to do something at LAN. That's one of the difficulties for HAVU, is they've had pretty much no like international LAN events that they've really gone to and performed at. Why not 3,700? Oh, well, 3,800. I say that 3,800, 3,800, easy peasy. Are you eating during freeze times? No, I'm not eating during free times. Eat a little bit of chicken perhaps first thing this morning, but it's fun. Caster, you know engine doesn't pronounce like engine? How's it pronounced then? It's got to be engine. Look at those squids in the chat. I like that. Some questions now. I like this. Caster, why this why the stream suck today? Tier 1 caster, tier 4,353,453,453.4 stream. Just a couple of technical issues. Technical issues always happen in the business, of course, but casting issues happen as well. Look at Paz almost spraying that second man down as well as Calyx, the next man in. Capitalizes off that, but HAVU still have a chance. Still, these two players left. Paz has a lot of ground to work with as well, but Alex is right round this corner. Alex just eagerly waiting and watching it down as they are making their way back up to the A site. They're just waiting for this peak to come through. An absolute Mexican standoff here. A showdown between Alex and Calyx, both being very extremely patient. I feel like that smoke popping might actually force Alex forward, and Calyx just watching this angle does spot him out. There he's found there, walks right into Paz. So it's only Khan left. 1 versus 3 to put this 11th round on the board. It's definitely not crucial by any means. I feel like the pistol round is way more worthwhile, but Khan, he might actually put this 11th round on the board. Racks up those 2 frags. The bomb is on the back of Major, and he's only got 10 seconds left. Needs to hightail his way to the A site as Khan changes up his angle of approach back again. He baits off footsteps behind, and he makes his way in front. Major sneaks his way onto Long as well, so has a chance in this one. Khan, with no kit, has to move fast. But Major, he is hidden and sneaking back into toilets. He is going for this full rotation round, and Khan might not have any idea that it's coming. Major right up behind, and Khan might just be caught off guard here. Here's Major, about to go for this peek. Khan looking the wrong way, but does sneak out just at the wrong time. Major's not making any noise though, so Khan has no idea, and he's even going to go for this. Is he going to save? I don't know. The bomb obviously ticking down fairly far right now, trying to search for a kit. It's going to blow up without him even going for this defuse. Space Soldiers take that 5th. So a nice end to the half there, as they took 4 out of the last 5 with 1 lonely round all up in the middle. But HAVU, that's obviously a convincing and dominating half of them. How do you like your kebab? How can you get your kebab cooked? Like well done or like more rare? I don't know. I thought all kebab was equal. You had it the same every single time. Let's see. What questions have we got in the chat? This chat's got mad today. We've got like almost 4,000 players. So, which company am I working for to cast, or am I freelancer? Why Hamburg? I'm working for ELC, ELC Gaming, which is like a startup here in Hamburg. We run our own tournaments, like Legend Series for CSGO, and the team is in Poland this weekend. That's why we've got, like, the guy who does all the technical stuff isn't actually here in the studio, which means that I'm having a bit of a harder time, like, keeping up with a few different things. Caster, do you put shampoo in your hands first or directly into your hair? Always onto my hands. Man, how can you put shampoo all into your hair, like, straight up? I think that's illegal, right? Dear Caster, have you ever tasted your own urine? I don't believe so. I'm absolutely sure that I haven't. Not on purpose, anyway. I'm sure that, yeah, I've not tasted it. I'm sure that just because, I was gonna say how, like, food gets corrupted and stuff, and but it just sounded like I pissed in my own food. Anyway, do I agree that a voice for cast is really important besides casting skills? Yeah, I do actually. I feel like your voice is probably one of the best assets that you have. I don't know. I'm a little bit funny about my voice. I don't know how everybody feels about it. What do you guys in chat think? I don't know. Do you think? Caster, when they see rebuy, are these teams spending real money in this tournament, or do they have to play as well? I don't think they're paying to be in the tournament. Some tournaments do ask you to pay, I think. I think that's something that people don't know about as much. I think certain, like obviously like the Overwatch League and stuff like that in other games got orgs to pay, and I don't know if that's like necessarily a very different thing. Dark Sentinel says, hey Squid. Hey Dark Sentinel, how you doing? Thanks for joining us today. Thank you very much. Somebody said schmexy voice. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. I don't know what everybody else thinks. The best characteristic of a caster is to be likable. Yeah, likable. I think the best characteristic of a caster is actually to be entertaining. I think you have to be entertaining. You can't be boring. I think that. I hope I'm not boring. I don't think I'm boring. Maybe I've got a retarded voice, but I'm not boring. I think. Or maybe you disagree with that as well. Either way, a nice pistol round from Space Soldiers puts us back in contention in this map. It was obviously so crucial, otherwise HAVU would have just been so too close to this finish line. After solid, strong T sides earlier today, it's obviously important for them to do the damage here early in the half. Make sure you gain a little bit of money, and we might be seeing a CT-sided comeback this time from Space Soldiers. And the last couple of days, they've been really building their Farmskins WCA run solely off the back of their T sides. They've been fairly dominant, just ripping their way straight on in, absolutely abusing weak defenses. Xantra's taking a couple of shots over, lots of damage done already, but these pistols are getting up close and personal, and May just actually going to peek into HAVU here. They switch back and know it's coming, so that's a weapon for them as they turn around and Alex finds it. What a beautiful headshot. 180-degree spin, and engine goes down as they make their way into this A bomb site. Space Soldiers, only with the 2 players left, going for this rotation desperately. Calyx has to do loads here, and he can only find the one. Only Paz left as this bomb's going to be planted all out in the open. Makes his way in, and he is going to find that first. Switches it up to the second, but he can't land the bullets in time. HAVU here, attentively watching and waiting. Have this crossfire established. The bomb all out in the open. He's going to have to move so fast as he does land another headshot, doing the damage right now. They're not really hitting him, but one shot with these pistols could eliminate him here as he walks in. Otto's gonna rip him apart with a pistol, the CZ of all weapons, to put 11 up top for HAVU. Berta says we're going to invite 15-year-old Sergey to FPL as a trial. Number of players that are scouting him in FPL as a state. I agree with that. I think that guys that face it should definitely add him to FPL. If he isn't already, I didn't even know. Somebody asked how much do I earn? Not allowed to tell you that. Or I am, but I'm just not going to tell you. Best thing about casting is not to miss an ace. Yeah, that's like one of the crucial. That's like so crucial. Shava chat, I'm not boring. Thank you very much. Is that Hey? Hey, Rias? Thanks very much, man. Are you casting or having an AMA? I'm doing a bit of both. When the game's in a bit of downtime, there's a bit of the pistol round, but yeah. ELC Gaming TV casting is good, but the stream had some issues. Yeah, we've had a couple of issues today. Other days we haven't had the issues. But yeah, thanks very much. Like obviously, like I'm a caster here, so there we go. That was the worst ace commentary I've ever heard. Did I miss an ace? I don't know. Perhaps I did. I wasn't really watching the game. Maybe I'm guilty. I apologize for that if I did. I don't really know. Either way, I really. It's the caster's curse that when you're not looking, like if you're a bit of a chill caster and you just like talking to the chat during the pauses or whatever, you overrun and stuff. I've actually got an issue where I can't hear the game sound as well, so like everything's going wrong. So I didn't catch it. That's unimportant. Caster can spell my name. Bauschnabelmuth. That sounds rude. I don't know what that means. Either way, I missed an ace. people like I'm like telling you what it is to be a good caster, and then I miss an ace. That's pretty funny. Anyway, Coke or Coke Zero? Obviously Coke. Full fat Coke. I would like extra fat Coke as well, man. I want fucking Coke taste amazing. Either way, I'm a big drinker of Coke. I want a button, and then I get Coke. That's what I want. Either way, Khan tearing his way into the B bomb site. Getting up close and personal. Space Soldiers with 4 players still on this site. They've got pretty big investment, but they're not getting any kills. HAVU just holding on here. Only Xantra's left as they're going to charge him down to spray away a couple of bullets, find Otto, but that's all she wrote is they're going to be able to pick up his weapon, and relatively no droppage from HAVU there as they dwarf this Turk scoreline 12-6, and they might make their way into the finals match here. Remember, the winner of that match will make it to the final stage where there's $45,000 up for grabs. Another pause though. Space Soldiers just want to slow the pace down. Caster, can you notice me please? Do you think 9/11 was an inside job or not? Says Henus. Probably not. I don't think that. Deli says, you're a good lad. Thank you very much, man. Much appreciate that. What streams do you like more, Pasha or Stride? I don't really watch either of their streams, but I just find Pasha pretty funny. I don't watch a lot of Stride even because I'm wrong time zone, all of that. Yeah, I've noticed the powers. Knives said, Caster, are you the one that cast the Hellcase Cup? Unbelievable. Those are like old fields, man. That's like a year ago. And you still remember that? If you're talking about that, and yeah, I am. I was a lead caster for Hellcase. That was like my first ever gig. That was my first ever big gig. Cac says, love your casting. It's nice to see some new casting talent. Thanks very much, man. Much appreciated. Really do appreciate it. So yeah, this pause still in place. I don't really know why. Either way. Oh, well, 4 players on HAVU now. Somebody actually finally timing out, so looks like we know why. Vent says, Caster, I love you. Love you too, man. Thanks very much for joining. Much appreciate it. Much appreciate the comment and critique. If you've got any questions, you can just throw them in the chat and we can have a bit of banter before this game gets back underway. Obviously, we've probably only got like 10-15 minutes left of this series. And then we've got another one in just under 4 hours at 10 o'clock CST. We'll be in going for that. Mocking says I'm a good caster. Thanks very much. Lots of love for this Twitch chat today. People really starting to enjoy it. Calyx got an ace on the pistol. That's pretty funny. That's terrible, isn't it? Playing other games other than CSGO in my free time? Yeah, I actually play a bit of Planetary Annihilation. I love that game. I've been like addicted to that game recently, and my computer broke, so I've got to reinstall. I've reinstalled it, so I'm going to get back into the game. If anybody is like average at Planetary Annihilation, literally add me on Twitter or whatever. Send me a DM on Twitter if you want to play. If you want to play some Planetary. Temper says, Caster, I hate you. Be quiet. I'll be quiet, man. It is my job. Caster has strong abs. Very nice, hot, says Jab. Thank you very much, Jab. I do. I have some rock solid abs. How old am I? I'm 18 years old. I'm 19 in 10 days' time. So, young blood running through my veins. Caster, what soccer team do I support? I've never been into soccer. You can call me Squid, by the way, if you want. My handle is Squid, or my alias is Squid. That's why people sometimes spam squids in the chat. The whole squid meme. So yeah, you can call me Squid if you want. MRK says, Caster, please shout out to Chris Hall. Hey, Chris Hall. Hope I didn't butcher your name too much. Hope I didn't. So what soccer team? I don't really watch much soccer. Don't really watch much football. Not really into that sort of scene. Caster, can we call you Dad? Yeah, you can call me Dad if you want. Look at those squids in the chat. You can spam some squids in the chat. His name is not Caster. Yeah, I'm fine with people calling me Caster. That's fine. My name is Squid, or my alias is Squid, so you can go for that. My character is Squid, even. That's what it is. Dad. Somebody calling me Dad. Oh my lord. I shouldn't have read out that message, should I? That's a big mistake. That's a catastrophic mistake. I definitely shouldn't have read that one out. You talking too much? I'll chill it down. I'll chill it down. Trouble for you, says Caster muted. That's fine. You can mute me if you want. Squid, can you marry me? Yeah, you can, Vent. I'll gay marry that Vent guy. You're too impulsive until casting 4-tier teams. Impulsive? I'm a pretty impulsive person. Either way, we're getting back into this game. Space Soldiers just with pistols this time. HAVU likely going to be able to take a 13th round. Just the one flash of investment, not catching anybody out. It's HAVU just able to hold back and passive. Circuit gets dinked, but here come the nades. As Alex does take that first, a big double dunk for Khan. As Alex takes another one, only Major left, unlikely to going to be able to take any damage at all as that nade explodes in his face. They're trying to charge him down. He has got the knife in hand, but there's Otto to finish him off. A completely clean round for HAVU. Means they're going to grow this bank. They've got so much money to work with, only 3 rounds left. Pardon me as well. Means that obviously they are definitely in the driver's seat of this one. Caster. We're still calling me Caster. That's fine. I'm tilted. Call me Caster. It's fine. I'm a Caster. I'm Squid. Do you think Space Soldiers is throwing? Definitely not. I don't think they're throwing. Oh, Major. That was a nice collat. Almost dunking down the second as well as Khan forced to fall back. He's getting a little more aggressive, but Major only took those 2 shots out. Not wanting to lose his life unnecessarily. Means that he is going to fall back to this B site, and Space Soldiers have a lot to work with here. Obviously, Paz going to actually swing his way in. Finds that second one. It was Alex on full HP and nobody to trade because Khan's so low. Means they are going to pick up that AK-47, but they've done no damage yet. So this entry onto the B site, by the looks of things, is going to be very difficult. As Paz actually picking for more perfect flash as he annihilates 2. Only Otto over towards the other side of the map, but he's not got his trusty AWP this time. It's just an AK-47, a strat that HAVU do play fairly regularly. And Space Soldiers, it's all about whether they can stay alive with multiple players, and they do. A very clean round for them. It's HAVU. This is going to be the crucial round for both teams. The Space Soldiers only going to have to go for the utility investment. Means that they've got a little bit of a buffer to work with. HAVU are going to almost edge to the bottom of this bank. They're very fragile and timid right now in terms of the money, and I feel like they've got to be a bit more impulsive and aggressive and dominating, take a bit more control if they're going to really slaughter through and take this map. Major, a lot of map control there. Let's finish that nade on through and lines up the AWP shot just in time, but he's unable to connect with the bullet. And HAVU keep their 5 alive. 3 players still on this B site. Is HAVU actually electing to go back to A? Might be this setup. This is one that Heroic and Trix use a fair bit, playing the one over towards B side of things. One player over by toilets, normally the star player, somebody who can really hold his own, and then everybody else sneaking up long, meticulously checking those angles, sliding all the way slowly through. And this A site is not all too exposed. Normally you play 3 players over towards B, but this time they've got that manpower over on the A site. And with Zart holding back the flank, it's pretty much committed at this point. Sanchez is actually getting fairly aggressive. Sergey versus Xantres, maybe the most exciting Angel you can have in this matchup. Very likely it'll be over very quickly. Sanchez actually swings in. Zart spots the corner of his head and actually finds it. His Molotovs are placed. It forces Engine into a very compromising position. Space Soldiers have to go for this rotates. They've only got 2 players on this site, and HAVU, with only 10 seconds left, need to make the way on thick and fast, but Paz and Engine hold it down as Alex swings back in and finds 2 more. So back and forth. Is this bomb finally going down? They're not able to drop it. Is Space Soldiers, only with Major left on this site, getting tagged to 0. He's got 13 HP, and he is actually going to get blasted by Alex. A beautiful round from the Clutch Fins to put them within 1 of match point. Space Soldiers 7-14 down. They've got to do something with this scrappy buy here. Pharmacies between the two. UMP on a pair of players. Paz with an AWP, my pardon. And if you beg my pardon, my buddy. Either way, 14 on the board for HAVU, as I said earlier. Sergey is slipping and sliding his way down connector. He has been one of the difference makers taking map control. And obviously you can trust him in those situations. He's so fast and so good at just hitting the headshot. Look at Otto just tracing that man on through. Game sense absolutely on point. His Engine takes a tickle of damage. Forced to back off. 67 HP for him. Is HAVU charging away on down. Engine is actually going to swing out to his demise and death. Sergey going to do the same to Xantres. This man holds it on through. Zartek's going to drop as well. Kills left, right, and centre for the CTs as this push on towards A is already coming on through. And it has to be Paz to hold it down. The only player on this site as Xantres actually nails them both. Actually, the collab for Paz. As Xantres takes another one. A big round for Space Soldiers. And that might actually allow them to capitalise and grow this comeback. Obviously, they're going to need 7 or 8 rounds if they're going to take it to overtime or win, respectively. HAVU with such a big chance of this one. Lot of spam. Love it, of course. Love the cheeky bit of chat spam. That's what it's all about. If you put your left foot in, your left foot out, shake it all about. You do the chat spam where you spam Havana. That's what it's all about. HAVU have the 14 rounds and just pistols in this one. Obviously, we've seen them do a lot of damage in these situations before, but the investment's a little lackluster this time. With Xantres around this corner, Zati almost swang into him and looked like he was going to pop that shot on through, but Major is going to find one at the other side of the map. They should be able to be neutralized from Space Soldiers. It should be 1 within double digits after this round. Kills left, right, and center. HAVU do concede another one by the looks of things. Otto doesn't even land 1 shot. So a clean round for Space Soldiers. They are going to gain this bank, gain a little bit of money, which means that they're not down if they lose 1. If they can put a couple more rounds on the board here, then surely they'll be looking to really make this comeback happen. However, it's HAVU's job to just find a strat to be able to deal with this. Paz close to the AWP, just peeking and poking his way over that smoke. HAVU just going for this set default again. This is really just to find openings and entries, as Space Soldiers have to back and recede. They really have been having a couple of issues as of late finding these entry frags, just because Space Soldiers have been passive and then aggressive at the right moments. It's been a nice mix and match of this style, as Alex might actually be spotting Mage right, and there's the headshot. Beautiful from Alex. Closes the door, and that really does metaphorically shut the door on Space Soldiers. It's likely going to be match point. If this is a score, and here comes Otto. Smokes out, and Space Soldiers have to do something with this. As the bomb rotates in on through towards A. It's not going to be the first man in. Takes a bit of damage. Holds down the line, but the play is coming in towards the A side. The rotation is forced over as well. Xantris has to speed up off the back of this engine. The only man here needs to fight for time, and he isn't. He's just going to get shot in the face instantly from Otto. As this bomb goes down, Space Soldiers in a very difficult retake. Obviously, Calyx from behind on barely any HP. Sergey, who hasn't really showed up all too much this half, is a pincer behind this corner. If he goes aggressive and peeks out, maybe Calyx can do something, and he does actually assassinate Sergey. Annihilates him with that headshot, but HAVU just playing aggressive, finding frag after frag, and Paz are forced to save this AWP, knowing that they're not going to be able to really invest all too much in the follow-up rounds if he cannot save this one back. Let's find a shot, but HAVU still making their way up close and personal. Bomb going to explode. 15 on the board now, match point. As HAVU have 6 chances to close this matchup out. This is going to force HAVU into, if they win this, they'll be in the final of this group. And Space Soldiers will have to play a decider against the winner of our next matchup today. That's Avangard versus Kinguin. The losers respectively. Still quite a high skilled matchup. Obviously in this main stage, we're not short on them whatsoever. Alex gonna be the first man, poking his way into B. Just exploring these angles. His Space Soldiers waiting back and not letting him in. Closing up, tightening this defense. And HAVU, they have to really find a frag and really force it open. Especially on this B side with only 2 players over here. If you can find an even trade going in, you're likely going to be able to just take this match, take this game, take the series. Just off the back of this one round. Space Soldiers playing a buddy system. Obviously 2 players towards B, but oh, there's Alex with an opener. As HAVU starting to rotate in towards the B site. You see Alex running somewhat distraction as Engine just holding it down. They're going to sneak into his position as he is right around this angle, about to peek out. He will be the difference maker here, depending on whether HAVU are going to check this angle or not. They are going to rotate into the B side, so it's all up to Calyx now. As Paz does find one over towards the A side of things. Calyx rotates his angle on through. He's going to find that one, switches it up, but he is unable to find the second. His rotate comes through, and Xantris, he needs to be the difference maker here. Needs to peek his way on. And he's got so many angles to watch. Engine from behind steals away another one. As Xantris makes his way in, but Alex is going to assassinate him. Just Paz left, as he's got a world of work to do with an AWP. Has to break this crossfire. One from in front, one from the side, as he spots out ahead. Needs to recede and back away. This bomb even ticking down. Pressure upon pressure mounting. Misses a no-scope and loses a round. It's 16-6. Team HAVU take it.
Farmskins.com. Top 2, the most visited case opening platform worldwide. More than 70,000 case openings every day. Many cases which have become legendary for our users. Join the Farmskins Club and get your free daily case today.
No freedom, mislead them, ride with it, we don't need them. Gonna make nobody left to be there. Nobody taking this is my boss brand. Yeah, we get to Nia, there's a virus coming to eat ya. Gonna make nobody taking this is my last breath. We go higher, we catching fire.
I'm never gonna let you go, never gonna say goodbye, no. Never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you go, never gonna say goodbye.